Hey guys, what's up? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Let's see how the market closed. Kind of finish up the day here. What time is it? 3:25. I was trying to get on before the end of the day, but I guess I got sidetracked. Um, all right, let's see what's going. See how we ended up the day. Hopefully it ends as well as it started. It started pretty dang good. Yeah, it looks all right. I don't know. It looks like the let me get on a shorter time frame here. It's hard to tell much on the daily time frame. Looks like there was a little bit of a sell-off later in the day, and the fact the Nasdaq's even red on the day. Bitcoin's still up 2% though, so what difference does it make, right? What difference does it make? 10 years down, I mean, that's good. AMD's up. I mean, happy days are here again, it looks like. Amazon actually down 3.2%, but Coinbase actually turned down at the end of the day. It was up big earlier. Google. Let's check out Google. Yeah, it looks good as usual, although it finished the day down a little bit. Looks like we did have a little bit of a late day sell off. Yeah, we definitely did. Let me zoom in here. Okay, yeah. You can see these are today, these are 30-minute bars. So yeah, the gap in the NASDAQ gave up. And in fact, we even got on the other side of the gap. And then we closed right about on it. So who knows? I mean, but that gap did not work out. That gap is no longer there. But this gap right here and this gap and the other five behind it have been definite bullish indications. Um, so let's look at SPY. SPY did the same thing. It just filled the gap from this morning, I guess, a little bit, and then rallied during the last half hour. All right, so the max factor, I'm still working on it. Rob's still helping me. Let's look at Crypto Quartet. Come on, what's going on here? Come on, Crypto Quartet. All right, so we'll just start on whichever one we're on. All right. All right, this is Alti right here. So it looks like Alti managed to finish the day up slightly. I can't see for some reason. Gosh damn it. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Anyway, Alti finished the day up, largely on the backs of CoreWeave and GME, which had gigantic days today. I guess maybe I should just exit this stupid page. Huh. I don't know what's going on. Stupid thing. All right, let me maybe if I open a new window, it will work better. We could see. Gosh damn it. Come on, Crypto Quartet. All right. Alti is up 63 basis points on the day. That is great. Average stock is up twice that. That was the same numbers from this morning. It's almost like it's not working. Dude, I swear the numbers this morning were like exactly double, pretty much exactly like that. I wonder, maybe it's probably not live updating. It's probably jacked up. I guess we can look real quick. So it has Alti up 63 bips right there. I'm just having a feeling because that's the same exact thing it was this morning before the sell-off. And none of my stuff ever works. And so I have a feeling that this might be the same thing. This is showing Alti up 18 basis points. Yeah, so it's what I said. It hasn't updated since this morning. I don't know why this shit never works. I mean, it never freaking works. Never. I never go 2 days. It's all right, Jack. She didn't do anything. I can't go 2 days in a row without it. I mean, it just never works. I mean, I just don't get it. How can this not do this? I mean, that's the same. It has it not refreshed in like 3 hours? I mean, those are the same numbers it said this morning. Exact same numbers it said this morning. I don't think it's refreshed in that long. So I just hit refresh and I got a current price. But I did that 2 minutes ago. Also, whenever I shut the whole browser tab down, got another browser tab and still have the bad price. I think it was just loading that from cache or something. Anyway, this one's right though. So the poor thing is Alti's up. And that's really good because their average stock by the end of the day was down after the market sell off. Look at Chewy. Chewy got killed 16% down. You got to be kidding me. Good thing for those callers. I mean, Bull's down a little bit. Webull, I guess that's Webull. Rocket Lab, SMR's down. Boy, the end of the day, it was not pretty at all. Look at Upstart down 9%. Luckily, CoreWeave is up 16% and Credo's up and Reddit's up. So, all right, well, let's look at LFGY. I wonder if this is going to be jacked up like the other one was. Is LFGY really? Oh, this is still Alti. It's saying it's up 18 bips, so let's not. Come on. Alti's right here. How can there be two Altis? Jax thinks he's in trouble. You can tell when I'm getting mad. He walked out of the room. Stock positions, LFGY, chart 18. All right, what's my rule about computers? Computers never make errors, humans do. This is a human error. This should say LFGY right there, but the rest of it is accurate. All right, human error. So now let's look at it. All right, so LFGY though is up 40 basis points. Now, is that even true? Who knows? Who knows if that's even true, but let's go check it out. I shouldn't have to do this every day. This is ridiculous. This really is up 40 basis points. All right, well, that's good. And I still have it. So I didn't sell it yet, but when I go to sell it tomorrow, it's going to be worth more. And GPTY is having a really good day too. Average stock was up more though. Circle's down, Coinbase down. What is that? Bitdoor. Galaxy's down, Hood's down, PayPal's down. How the hell is this thing up? I guess because of this doesn't even have CoreWeave. It has something called Cores, but that one's up 10%. What Cores and CoreWeave are? How are all these things up 10 and 15%? Look at Riot Blockchain up 7%. Look at GME actually outperforming the. Well, it's not outperforming the parent. It's up more than its allocation is. This isn't a buffer report, but anyway. But to be up more than your allocation is always a good sign. I mean, you could also say the same thing about NVIDIA. It's up more than its allocation. Anyway, all right. So that is LFGY. Now let's go to blocks. Oh my God, blocks is the same error. Look, it says Alti again. How in the And this is going to be a human error, right? Oh my God. How brain dead could I freaking be? All right. God damn it. All right. Now let's check out the blocks chart. So this morning, anything we looked at this morning was wrong. It was showing Alti prices the whole time. Over here in this thing. And it even said Alti down there. No one caught it, and I didn't catch it, but the other prices were right. But the one on the far right was wrong. Anyway, okay, now blocks is doing really well. It's up more than a point. It avoided some of the bad situations. It does have Galaxy and Hood block, but it also has IREN. Look at IREN up 11%. Look at Riot up 7%. We already talked about that. Cypher. I told everyone in Discord about this yesterday. Did anyone get any? I mean, the last time, anytime they put something in blocks, I mean, I don't even know what Cypher is, but the guys at blocks do their research. I mean, anyway, it's whatever it is they're doing right. Anything that's in blocks or Alti or LFGY or these guys, I mean, they only put good stocks in blocks and Alti and LFGY. They try to only put good stocks in there, the best of their ability. But whenever I hear a stock that I haven't heard of and it's in one of those companies, I sit up and pay attention. All right. Well, so blocks is doing well. Let's check Salty. Wonder if Salty has the same error. I wonder if Salty says Alti, and it doesn't look like it does. I did Salty right. All right. So Salty's down 82 basis points, which we'd kind of expect because the market's up. So unfortunately, they're short Bloom Energy. Is Bloom Energy really up 14.7%? What in the hell? Good thing they do the reverse collars. But still, though, that's probably a 10% loss for them right there, even with the collar. But it's only 1/20th of the account. But that right there is 2%. That right there alone is making the fund down 2%. Just that loss by itself. The fund's down 82 basis points because it also had some winners. It did a good job on this, whatever that was. Lemonade? Is that Lemonade? Did a good job on MP, whatever MP is. RH did a good job on. Tempest AI did a good job on. But anyway, still down 82 basis points. All right, so what else should we look at? Hey, Brad, how are you doing? I haven't seen you around here in a while. Are you Whistler, Brad? I have a couple of Brads that, but anyway, I've had Brad before that used to go by Whistler Brad. But then I have another Brad. I'm trying to think his name. And one time I asked him if he was Whistler Brad, and he wasn't. I didn't know. Maybe you're Whistler Brad. Hey, good afternoon from the West Coast. Norman, thank you so much for being here. And SB, thank you so much for being here as well. We got 11 of you guys in the house tonight. You guys want to look at anything in particular? Anything we want to let's go to barchart.com and see if there's any new stocks that are going to go into Alti or Salty. Now, what is the deal with this Bloom Energy? I guess, did they have earnings today? Well, last earning, it wasn't earnings. It's a hydrogen company. Okay. Huh. Well, with this AI stuff, we're going to probably need it. Anyway, Bloom Energy. It looked like their short was doing all right. It was going down for a while and stuff, but it just, All right. Anyway, let's go to the option overview and see what else is in play. What other options are? We aren't really looking for the sake of options. I always talk about this, where we look at the options to pick stocks, and we try to look at the option market as an indicator of what stocks professionals are buying or selling. Okay, most active options, it's the usual list. Except PCG. What is PCG? I mean, that's not the usual list. So that's Pacific Gas. Well, did they have earnings today? No, they had earnings at the same time as the last company did. 731. What was that? Bloom Energy. They had earnings the same day as Bloom Energy. Well, it's energy company. Maybe it's related. Maybe it's related. Anyway, that's somewhat interesting, but I don't care about energy. I mean, about those are widows and orphan stock, Pacific Gas and Electric. Nothing wrong with those, but nothing wrong with those. But in the old days, that's what you would put your customers in. If you were in wealth management and somebody had money but needed income, you would have to give them something like Pacific Gas and Electric or any of the utility companies. Because the utility companies paid a dividend and they were steady and not very volatile. That was one of the only places, the safe places to go. They didn't have SPY-I and triple QI and all the choices from very safe to very unsafe. Well, we have all the choices nowadays. All right, so let's go back to this IV rank and IV percentile. This is where they usually pick the ones for Alti, I think. Alti and Salty are going to be stocks on this list. I can't believe they never did put DocuSign in either of them. DocuSign was all over this list a few weeks or last week. Bed Bath & Beyond's on it also. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Bed Bath & Beyond pop up on in Salty or something. Look, Smith & Wesson's on there too. So what's Smith & Wesson doing with such high IV? 94 IV. It's only a 76 IV rank, so it can get a lot worse, is what that tells you. But the ones that are as high as they've ever been are this ASST. We talked about that today. I already forgot what it was. Adobe Systems. What is this $3 stock? I've seen this one before and always wondered if it was there's something going on with it. It's only $3. That's 100 IV rank and 100 IV percentile. Clover Health Investments. What in the hell are they doing? Clover CEO to testify before Congress on the transformative role of AI in healthcare. Healthcare AI market explodes. Okay, some kind of healthcare AI play. Well, anyway, I mean, that might be a good one to buy. You just want something to take a flyer on. It's only $3. It's like an option. You get 1,000 shares, hold it for a year. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You lose $3,000. It's like an option trade, kind of, because it's $3. Just like, options are usually $2, $3, $4, whatever. All right. Let's see what else we have on this list. See if there's anything else on this list that looks interesting. For Salty and Alti, I just looked at the higher price ones. They're never going to mess with the $3 stock, but just in my own, I've been wondering about this New Fortress Energy forever. What is the deal with this thing? This thing just, somebody thinks they know something about this one also. Maybe the reason Bloom Energy's IV was so high is because somebody knew it was going to go up or something, so an insider or whatever, and they were bidding the IVs up. Of course, Yilmax doesn't know that. I mean, they're just taking the ones with the highest IV and putting it in either Salty or Alti. Wish they would have put this one in Alti instead of Salty. I really never did see why they don't just use the same portfolio. It just doesn't matter. You just use the same damn portfolio. Those Alti stocks are going to be hot messes when the market turns around. I know no one is for that, and everyone, that. But I always just said, just use the same portfolio, make an inverse of each other. Anything in Alti is just one bear market away from being the worst stock in the world because it has the highest IV. It has that high IV for a reason, because people are concerned about it's because it's risky. So, so those kinds of stocks do well when the market's going up, and like Alti has been doing well. Alti's been killing it. But when the market turns around, there's no need to pick bad stocks, just short the Alti stocks. I mean, I never did get that. The reason people don't want that is because people are still in love with the fantasy of the free money fantasy. And oh, but Alti, there's something special they're doing, and it's cool, but it's not really special. And I guess people still in love with the free money fantasy. They want to own Alti, but they want Salty not to have the same stocks because they want to maybe own both. I don't know, but I would have been fine to put the same stocks in there. Anyway, Barrick Mining's on this thing. I mean, gold and gold miners have been on fire lately. GDXY was the hottest thing in my portfolio the past quarter. I did review it today. I just didn't. I just haven't made the content yet. Hopefully that content will be out tomorrow. All right, but anyway, so let's look at this. So this is in the same business. This is Barrick Mining Corporation. I just want to. Holy cow! Look at their chart. That's a 1-year chart. Wow. It's gone exponential lately, and it can go a lot further. Look at this. This was, and look what it took off. The price was right about where it is now, when the market was going fine. But then in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, people, used gold as a hedge or whatever. Gold became more precious during the bad times. But then as soon as when did the market rebound? I mean, it was down for a couple of years, but I think, 2011, 2012, it finally rebounded. And sure enough, that's when this price gets back down low again. Are we fixing to go back into another phase like 2008, 2009? I hope not. But anyway, it's good to have a good little protection. I'm really thinking about getting GLDY from Defiance, but I mean, GDXY has been doing so bad. Why pull it from the lineup? I mean, GDXY has been doing so well. Why mess with it if it ain't broken or whatever? Why fix it if it ain't broken? You guys know what I'm saying. All right. Well, hey, Mike, what's up here? Okay, so let me go back here and see what's going on. Yeah, I'll talk about TDAP. Let me see if Brad answered my question about being Whistler Brad. Yeah, it is Whistler Brad. Kick ass. You're one of my oldest. You're one of my oldest commenters. You and Norman, Tom, and a handful of others. I'm trying to think. There's another guy that used to comment all the time. But anyway, yeah, you guys are some original Max crew. I haven't seen you around as much lately. So I have another Brad that I've become friends with, and I think he's also from Canada. He is. So one day I was asking him if he's Whistler Brad, but he isn't. He's a different Brad from Canada. So it's all good. I got it figured out now. All right. Yeah, you missing the live streams. The live streams, I mean, I appreciate you. I do appreciate you watching. Okay, let me try to catch up with these things really quick. Yellow Purple, I don't believe I've seen you around here before. Yellow V Purple. Anyway, nice. Thank you for being here. Brad saying it's great content. Such good. Okay, thank you. Mike K. So when we have Mike K here, and then we have Michael from the Philippines, then we have Mike from Oklahoma playing the role of Max Convexity. So how many mics do we have in the house? There's 13 of us total, and there's 1, 2, 3 mics, and I bet you there's another couple. It's a common name. There. All right, so let me just catch up with all these. Yeah, another Mike in the room. So Mike from the Philippines is saying he's been hearing hype over WPay. Yes. Not sure if willing to dip your toes in something new with no track record yet. They don't have a track record, but Roundhill does. I'm not the biggest Roundhill fan, but I swear to God, I'm going to get some of that tomorrow. Some WPay. Don't you just get it because I'm doing it and whatever. But that it'll be good as long as the market keeps going up. I mean, it's a Roundhill. All of these will. I mean, but Roundhill is particularly bullish. Anyway, and I'm just going to get a small percent, probably 15% of the portfolio in WPay. But I think we've seen enough with Roundhill's, in my opinion, not financial advice. Seen enough with Roundhill's body of work, in my opinion, to think it's going to be all right. The only thing that's going to derail these is a bear market. I mean, that as long as the market keeps going up or even sideways, covered calls do all right in sideways markets. The only thing that's going to really hurt these is a bear market. Even in a bear market, your covered calls fund will be doing better than the market as a whole. And people like me will always say, well, they outperform on the downside. But still, though, there's people buying these that shouldn't be in them, that are buying them to try to retire early. They aren't buying them for, so anyway, and if they buy them today and then a bear market hits tomorrow, those people, you know, are going to be disappointed. But somebody that's just trying to allocate a 5, 10, 15% to get a little income like you would out of a bond fund for retirement. And that's the kind of the behavior I kind of encourage. I say a max of 20% on any of these, because there's, for one thing, there's too many other good things out there. The whole world's not made for covered call. Covered calls are great, but you know, it's great to get some other stuff also. Okay, so Brad, what are you talking about Barrick? Now, Barrick's known for being a global. Yeah, I've heard of Barrick my whole life. Barrick and Newmont. I mean, heck, I used to be a stockbroker. I used to sell Newmont to people. I don't know about Barrick, but I remember selling Newmont in the 90s. Heck yeah, heck yeah. All right, so Brad, you've been, yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? I remember when I first got started, I kind of picked up some people from Retire on Dividends room. I'm kind of thinking that's maybe where you came from, but when I got in his room, then I started getting some Max fans of my own. And you're one of the first Max fans, and Norman also, and Tom, and 3 or 4 others. I'm trying to think of this other guy's name. Anyway, but yeah, I appreciate it. So we got MJ is here. So MJ is Michael from the Philippines. Or is MJ, are you Mike and Venus? You're Michael from the Philippines, right? So who is MJ? And that might also be Michael. Oh, it is, because I know Michael's last name from the Philippines. It is MJ. I picked up MJ. I got you from Retire's Room, right? I think I got a lot of people from Retire's Room. Brad is an awesome name. It is. Brad is a good name as well. Brad's kind of the Mike of you know, Mike was the biggest name in the 60s and 70s. Mathematically, the most popular man's name from like 65. We looked at it one day to like 74. It topped the list. And then since then, it's kind of gone downhill, still popular. But I bet if you looked at the next generation, which would be the kids born in the 70s and 80s, I was born in 66. So we'll say the next generation, kids born from 76 to 86 or whatever, those kinds of kids, I bet you Brad might be the Mike of that. Or maybe Kyle, you know, or something. There's something else. Anyway, maybe we'll have a show on names. Maybe we'll go to that thing. There's a great site on the internet where you can go search for name content. I just think that's fun to do sometimes. Anyway, okay. Roundhill uses swaps for WPay's holdings. Yeah, not only they use swaps so they use swaps. There's nothing wrong with swaps, but their swaps aren't even really covered call swaps. They're total return swaps. So it's, I mean, that's the knock. That's the knock on them. And I don't really think it's a knock, is they're just selling stock. You know, or I did used to think that was a knock before on something, when somebody's just selling stock instead of selling options. When I started looking into it, it's just, and I should have known this, because there's no free money, it doesn't really matter. Selling options has some definite advantages. Taxes, there's lots of good things. It's concentrated portfolios. There's lots of good reasons to do it. But as far as if you're just trying to figure out how to spend your own money, at least according to the back test I run, to be honest, the ones where they just sell stock usually come out a little better. I mean, you know, and I've run a million portfolio visualizer back tests. And you guys have too. The far right column, if you're running portfolio visualizer, it says at the top, put in your benchmark. And I just take the default benchmark, which is just the Vanguard 500 total return or something. But you could put in SPY or Review or whatever. But that far right column will show you. So you can put in your portfolio and say, okay, here's my $1 million portfolio, and I want to withdraw $10,000 a month. And you can put in $10,000 a month after taxes, or not after taxes, but after inflation. You can put it in and you can run it back, and it'll show you how you do. Well, the far right column, where it just says the underline's not selling any options. They're just selling stock. But that's, so it just by default on Portfolio Visualizer, they'll show you what the just selling stock was. Far right column almost always wins. So, I mean, but so some people, so here's what I would say. If you're really into covered calls and you think there's something magic about them, and I like them as much as anyone, but then yes, Round Hill's not going to be the one for you, because they're just selling stock, and that maybe in a down market market, that will have some repercussions. It probably will. It probably won't do as well in a down market or something. But so if you want a fund that sells options, don't get WPay. I'm not trying to talk anyone into WPay. I'm just saying after all my looking around and stuff, I've kind of decided it doesn't matter. It's your money. You can do whatever you want. I mean, mathematically it doesn't matter, because I mean, I wish options were more of an advantage than they are. But their advantage it doesn't manifest itself it manifests itself in different ways. It gives you tactical advantages. The main thing, the reason I got introduced to options is you have a guy that's worked all his life for a company and he's retired and has $2 million worth of stock or $4 million worth of stock, whatever, but it's all in the same company. Okay. And so then what else is a problem? Then also, lots of times, let's say he got those options or he got the stock through stock options. He worked at the company 40 years. So he basically has no cost basis. It's $2 million of all profit. If he tried to diversify himself, he would end up owing, and this was in the 80s, end up owing $500,000 to the government. And there's nothing rich people hate worse than paying taxes. So that is the perfect, and it's what Jay does also. It's called concentrated portfolios. That's the perfect case for covered calls, because they can write calls, so they don't have they can write calls and use the money from the covered calls, the income, even though it's not free money and it's not, we know all the stuff, it's not, but they take the money from that and then they buy stock in other companies so they can diversify. Also, let's say it's also for retirement. I saw this situation in my wealth management practice. The person doesn't want to sell any stock because they're just trying to avoid capital gains. I mean, after you die, your family gets your stock, and your family gets the price of the stock on the day you die, so they don't have to pay your gains tax. So if you got a guy that has a couple of million, and he can sell options to support his lifestyle, not have to sell stock, that's a huge advantage. So I got into it. The options, it's not so much the math. The math's cool too. You win 2 times out of 3. And I mean, the math has some advantages too, but the real advantages are the tactical. They're for people that have a concentrated portfolio and need to diversify, and or people that are trying to avoid taxes or plan for estates. That's the perfect use case for options. I need to make a video on this. So that's the perfect. And in that case, they work out so well. But what does that story have? In that story, somebody has already made the money. Somebody has already brought the $1 million or $2 million or $500,000, whatever. They've sacrificed and worked. They have the money. So what's happened since these things got on the internet, people see it. They think yield and total return are the same thing. They don't understand that it's 80% yield can be a negative total return, or it can be 5% total. They don't understand that. They're just thinking 80%, it's free money. If I can make it 1.2 years making 80%, I'll have my money back, right? I mean, that's what they're thinking. That's not a good use case for it, because those people, guess what? Those people don't have $1 million or $2 million. There are lots of those people are young people, and so maybe they go on margin or something. Not a good use case for options, and I think that's what. So a lot of people have used yield max to try to quit their jobs as like some kind of panacea, but they haven't worked their whole life and brought the million with them. That's the thing, that rich guys get all the breaks. Options are the greatest thing ever if you've already made the money. But then I'll, when I tell that to people, some people say, well, if they've already made the money, and then they don't need any more money or whatever. But that's just kind of the way it works. The more you make, the less you need. The harder you work, the luckier you get. I mean, anyway, okay. Mike, so you were born in 71. Yeah. Maybe we will go to that. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Sad to say, but I honestly don't know what a swap is. A swap is just an agreement between 2 banks, and they did it all the time. The reason swaps got famous was in 2008, 2009. The swaps almost crushed our economy. There was the credit default swaps, which were like options on loans, but swaps like an option, but it doesn't have a market where it trades, it has a strike price or whatever, just a private option that 2 banks do with each other. So anyway, but yeah, I never heard of swaps before 2008, 2009. And then but that got us all an education on swaps. Okay. I want to talk about the name, but I also want to address what Marcus is saying. So TDAC just came out today. I need to have Cy back on my show. He was on Brad's show today. Brad does a great job. Go watch Brad interview him on TDAC. So I just watched the first 5 minutes of the interview. I just assumed that TDAC is just a NASDAQ. It's T-SPY, but in the NASDAQ, right? So anyway, what's not to like? Now, T-SPY is interesting. We're talking about, and I'm weaving back to a previous subject, 2 subjects ago. Let's talk about selling stock versus selling options. And really, in the grand scheme of things, as far as the money goes, and the risk and reward, it's not much difference. T-SPY has made a synthetic. They're the first one I know of. They do sell a little bit of stock, but they also sell options. They sell options every day. They pay you some income from the options, and then they pay you some from some of the stock. So they've kind of got a hybrid approach, and people really seem to like it. Okay, Marcus, what else you want to talk about? SPUT. All right, let's look at SPUT. SPUT. This one is from, I don't know. Innovator, that's right. And they do daily. Okay, this is similar to T-SPY. I wonder how this is done against T-SPY. I bet this thing's up 5% for the quarter. It only pays about a 5% yield, probably 5 or 6% yield on the year. So they just sell a daily put option. Okay. Oh, that's right, Marcus. That's why Marcus is reminding me. They sell the daily put option on half the portfolio. The other half the portfolio, they just don't stock. That's the reason they only pay 6%, because a daily put option on half the portfolio isn't that, they could pay 12, 15, 20% or whatever they do on the whole portfolio. They're only doing on half the portfolio. But yeah, so let's compare SPUT to, so now let's talk. So SPUT's kind of a more conservative type strategy, kind of like T-SPY. SPUT, let's just compare SPUT and T-SPY. T-SPY is pretty damn impressive, isn't it? I could get T-SPY tomorrow when I got the rest of that stock. I'm just not that interested in it. I don't see what everyone else sees about T-SPY. That here's what I suspect. I suspect people think that T-SPY doesn't have NAV decay. There's people that don't understand how money works or whatever. They think T-SPY is the magic. I see videos all the time. Zero NAV decay, zero NAV. Anyway, so I think the people that think that are still the people that are in love with that think that there's free money out there, and T-SPY is it. For a while it was Misty, then it's also been Alti, but there's other people that think Alti and Misty are too crazy, and so I kind of identify with these people. They go, no, those are too crazy, man. T-SPY, that's the one. So, but here's my counterpoint to that. Any of these ones that pay 12, 13%, any of the low paying ones generally do pretty well with NAV because they're low paying. That's why they do well with NAV. So, look at it. So let's look here. This is 6 months here. So they're both up about $1 on NAV, which is great. This is what people want. People want this fund. The free money folks, they want a fund. Hey, I just want my NAV to stay steady, and I just want to make a decent yield. I take 12, 15%. That'd be fine. But they want 12 or 15% with no NAV problems. And that it just doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But so another thing is probably not a popular opinion. Any of these ones, what are the ones that people always say are the safe ones? They're the ones that earn 12 or 13%, because it's enough to get people interested, or 14, 15, but it's not so much that it's a tax on the upside, which is all covered calls are. So I mean, what are the safest, best funds out there? When I first got into business, people were saying JEP-I and JEP-Q, and those were for the day. Nowadays, there's better choices. Triple QI, SPY-I, T-SPY. They all pay between 12 and 15%. And, you know, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There's probably something to that. In other words, if you're one of these people that, you know, if you're super concerned about NAV, go choose one of these ones between 12 and 15%. Don't get any of the ones higher than that, because every one of them are going to have problems. Every cent, because that's just, though, it's just money. It's just math at that point. Anyway, okay, Marcus, I covered, but okay, we covered swaps. There's still 12 of you here. Let's just look at this other thing really quick. This is actually fun to look at. What's it called? Wolfram Alpha. Have you guys ever heard about Wolfram Alpha? So you could just enter here what you want to calculate or know about. So Mike, and I just want to know, Mike is a surname. Or it's not a surname, it's a given name, isn't it? Okay, right here, it says it's only the 1,200th most popular name, but every one out of 159 people is named Mike. There's about 155,000 Mikes alive right now. It's ranked 349th, and this is exactly what my mom said. She never lied to me, and so this was another. She said the year I was born was #1. I just remember this. The year I was born was #1 for Mike, and then the year my sister was born was #1 for her name. Anyway, yeah, I'm 58 years old. So, I mean, and we can look here at the chart. This was what my mom was, and we didn't have Wolfram Alpha back then, but this is the chart. So these are the U.S. births. It looked like Mike peaked in 60. But anyway, but yeah, no one's naming their kids Mike anymore. Current age distribution, these are the average Mikes. So 50s and 60s are your Mikes. Few in your 70s. Mike Pence or whatever. He's the next generation up. You know, but then we have Mike Tyson and Michael from the Philippines, and all Gen Xers right here. Mike Judge, is he Austin? Is he an Austin guy? Mike, I think he may be in Austin. I think he does. I think somebody told me where he lives. All right. So, but anyway, I just think it's fun to look at these name databases. I just think it's fun to look. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let's put Brad in there. We were just talking about Brad. So Brad, given name. Okay, so it's actually lower ranked than Mike. 36 people per year. What is that? Okay, there's 75,000 Brads alive today. 1 in every 3,000 people is named Brad. But anyway, let's look at the Brad age distribution. Just what I said, 70s and 80s. It was the kids that were a generation younger than me. Little brothers, my friends' little brothers were named you know, Hunter and Jake and Zach and those kinds of names. And those were 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s names or whatever. So, but this is for the name. Oh, that's Bradford. Okay. Yeah, here's the current age distribution of Brads. I have a lot of friends named Kyle that are Gen Z. Well, given name, use a surname. Yeah, and it's 364. 1 out of every 800 people. Seems like more than that. The average Kyle age is, yeah. My friends are like 35 that are Kyle. But anyway, I have one that's actually 42 that's named Kyle. So whatever. But all right. So what are we talking about here, Mark? Mike is the second most popular boy's name in America around 1960. John was #1. Joe's #3. Mark was #4. And forget who #5 was. Yeah. So yeah, ChatGPT could certainly do that. could certainly do that. And you can check out Wolfram Alpha also. I'll check out Eggy, Brad. I'll check out Eggy. But yeah, Mike is just a very, I said this last time we were looking at this. All my dad's friends' name are Bob. My dad's 82 or something. Or Robert, but so let's go see here. And sure enough, my dad was born in 1942, I think. So he's like 84 now. My mom was born at 43. But anyway, yeah, but Bob's were a great name. All my mom's friends' name were Judy. All the ages are not ages. Names are just fun how they go through, phase. Bob and Judy. I bet a bunch of Bob and Judys got married. I bet a bunch of Bob and Judy. One of my dad's best friends named Bob just recently passed away. His wife is named Alicia. She's still doing well. But yeah, Bob and Judy. That's just the name of that generation. What else do you have from that generation? Mary. Mary might even be older. The average Mary alive today is my dad's age, 60, 70, 80. So all the girls that I dated and stuff, the girl's name of my generation was Tracy, Stacy, those kinds of names, Tracy, Stacy, and that kind of stuff. So let me just put it in. Or Amy was a big one in my generation. I had a lot of friends named Amy. Sure enough, Amy's happened in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and then fell off. The average Amy alive today is 45. All right. So did you guys? Yeah, Robert's a big one. I mean, Robert's just Robert's a good one. Well, yeah. Tell me what you find out. Okay. So what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah. Eggy. Somebody asked about Eggy. Let's check out Eggy. EGGY. Gosh, damn it. Look at this thing. What does it have in it? It has Broadcom in it. Holy Anap Lovin. Holy cow. And this thing is paying 15%, and it hasn't even been a year. How did this one slip off the radar? I mean, to be fair, though, back when the Max Factor was working, about a month ago, Eggy and Eggs were on it all the time before the market started selling off. But Eggy and Eggs were both, they never got in the top 10, but they would get up to 15 or 20. As soon as we get it fixed again, I bet it'll be back on here, because all the Max Factor is the yield multiplied by the return, and then it has then divided by the volatility. But so, I mean, this one is going to have about a 20% yield. The return is out. It depends on what time frame you're looking for, but it looks like it has a pretty dang good total return. Yeah, this one will definitely be on the Max Factor. Good call, Brad. Thanks for making me point that out or reminding me of it. Yeah, so you got some Aki. Okay. Heck yeah. I guess that what's the name of that company? Vista Shares. I guess that's kind of their little niche is copy trading. They're basically doing copy trading. You know what I'd like to see somebody do is somebody should do a fund that copy trades Alti, or it ought to be YieldMax, but YieldMax ought to put out a fund that just gets long in Alti. This is because they've already going to pick the names anyway, and it would kind of defeat the purpose, because the reason they pick some of those names is because of the high IB. YieldMax are option guys, but just imagine if you had some of those stocks unimpeded by options. I mean, Alti wouldn't make a bad growth fund, because we were looking at Alti, just even with all the problems that Alti has with NAV and all that kind of stuff that we all know about. If you go back a year, Alti's doing pretty dang good. And some of this time was before they changed the formula. So, but anyway, can you imagine what that thing would have been without options? I mean, it'd be up 2 or 3 times that much probably. Heck yeah. So Brad says he's okay with the idea of 15% and also balance with growth funds. Heck yeah. There's that. I mean, that same company has QUSA. They have the Buffett fund. And now they have the Ackman fund. Is there another fund they have too? It seems like there's another person there. I mean, but yeah, it'd be great if they could copy all the famous investors or whatever. I don't know. All right, so let's see what Mark's saying about Aggie. The fund managers at Aggie are advertisers. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, but they are. I mean, I will say this: the fund manager walked right up to me last year in New York and introduced himself, and I still remember him and his name and everything, because they are good people and they're aggressive, but they're proud of their product and stuff. But if I had them into New York, yeah, I wouldn't have them. And so that's definitely true. Yeah, they aren't as aggressive. The other thing is that they do a lot of wealth management in Mexico. They have an office in Los Angeles, but they have a huge wealth management practice south of the border. So it may be a little bit different target audience and stuff. But yeah, that guy was serious. I mean, he brought, now I say I remember his name and I'm forgetting his name now. But he brought a YouTube person with him. I mean, he had a whole team of people with him. I'm up there by myself and he introduces me to his social media manager. And then he was with another manager. He's had 2 or 3 people. They're doing a nice job though. Okay, let's look at Wild. Oh yeah, Wild was the other one we were talking about, right? Or yeah, let's see here. Wild is from the same company. Yeah, I think is where Mark is going. But yeah, I'd be fine with the. Oh, that's right. So Wild just is like feed and 5e, but it's just, this is my idea for Alti. Just do an Alti where it's just long. And it's kind of like they done with Wild. Not only are they just long, they're double long. So heck yeah. But yeah, Alti would be up like as much as Wild probably if it didn't have options. And Wild is up 20% this quarter. And we could check Alti for the quarter. I don't know what it is, but it's not 20%. Because those callers fully cap them. It's actually down 10% for the quarter. But that's without the dividends figure. They haven't really been doing that bad. But they're probably, if you figure in dividends, they're probably up 10% or something rather than being up 30% like the leverage fund was. Let's check here. Let's check Alti and SPY and let's check for the quarter. June, so we'll go back to June 10th and we'll go back to June 10th, 2025. Yeah, I called it. I said about 10%. What's it at? 9.97. I'm getting good at this job, aren't I? Well, at that part of it, I'm just not very good at getting YouTube revenue, but I'm good at the guesstimating part. If it was just up to guesstimating and talking, I can do a good job. Look at that, 9.97%. But of course, that is with dividends factored in. So what does that tell you? So let's think about that. So we know from FinViz that the NAV was down 10%. So the NAV's down 10%, but the total return is plus 10%. You have to figure the difference, which is 20%. So that 20% is the amount they paid. That's the distribution. So that's over a quarter. So at that rate, it would be 80% for a year, which is about right. That's about what they're, I mean, but that's a perfect illustration of it. And that probably the math works out perfect. You could do the same math for a year. Just do the same math for a year. You figure after a year, the NAV will be down 40%. Total return will still be the same, but the NAV will be down 40%. That the total return will be plus, going to be, yeah, it'll be plus 40, which is still a great year. And let me think if that makes sense. So if the NAV's down 40% for the year, and they pay 80%, yeah, that's exactly what it equals. And what's left over? 40% positive. Heck yeah, that's exactly how it's going to work. So all these people that are talking about is Alti going to reverse split? Yeah, heck yes, it's going to reverse split it. I mean, at some point it has to. I mean, it's just that even in good times, like I just illustrated, this quarter is a great time for stocks. It dropped 10% on NAV and nothing's wrong with it. And that's fine. I mean, that just, I mean, it's still one, and it's still outperforming the SPY, even including the dropping 10% in NAV. But yeah, so these people that the free money people, I mean, I get it. I want free money too, but it's not going to happen. All right, Brad. Eggy, yeah, title trust. I should have said what it was, Brad. I was talking about it. My bad. But yeah, it's actually from Nest Yield, and I still can't remember the guy's name. Really nice guy. Really liked him. Maybe his name's Mike or Brad or Amy. I don't know. Yeah, Wild does look interesting. Wild, yeah, thank you, Marcus, for that. Wild is definitely interesting. You know, because like I say, these option funds are great. But I get tired of talking about covered calls. There's a jillion other great investment ideas besides covered calls. So let's just forget about covered calls for a while. Well, that Wild has nothing to do with covered calls whatsoever. It doesn't even have to do with ID. I guess though they use leverage, so it does have to do with options. That's how they get the double leverage. They're either using swaps or using options, but so I guess it kind of does indirectly. But what I'm saying is options don't have to be used for an income. All right, Marcus is all into CAIE. Let's check out CAIE. CAIE is a good one. Check out CAIE for the past quarter. Look at that thing. It's spanking SPY also. Now, that's not really for a full quarter, though. That just goes back to, you know, to inception date. Now let's run CAIE against Alti. But you guys know what I'm saying? It's not that, I mean, if Alti, YMAX, they're all going to reverse split. I mean, it's the way these are designed. Hopefully no time soon, but I mean, I did a story once on it, and I figured Defiance triple QI would reverse split every year and a half or 2 years or something. And they have already split once, but anyway, it's just math. It's just math. It's just math. All right, so look at this though. This CAIE is beating Alti. You got to be kidding me. I want to recount. I want to do over. I don't accept that. It's bad data. That's bad data. That test is dead. Never using dividend counter again. Let's go over to the let's go somewhere. I know. Anyway, good job, CAIE. CAIE is a monster. Let's go look at something else real quick. Let's go check out the daily report, the buffer report, whatever. The daily buffer report. Okay, so we have all selected. So let's see what's moving. Well, it just says yield max though. It's not, they aren't really all selected. Okay, now they are really all selected. Okay. Let's just go back today. What do you guys think the number one fund of the day is? Probably Avgo, AVGW, or something. Well, let's take a look and see. ETF return. I called it AVGW. Look at all NVDW. Good job. NVII. Great job from Rex Shares. That's their growth and income series. They use leverage and only sell on half the portfolio. Plus, they use leverage, so this thing should have upside all day long. It doesn't seem to get quite as much as NVW as the Round Hill ones, but none of them really do. Round Hill, for whatever, has carved out their niche in the growth market, and it's probably a good idea because Yield Max was very, from the beginning. Jay used to say that's why we named it Yield Max. That's why it's about yield first, Yield Max. They done a great job. Maybe I wonder if the guys from Round Hill sat around and thought we could do the same thing. We need to make our niche something different. So let's try to build some covered call funds that are growth oriented. Hang on a second. Jackson, what are you barking at? I think it's just the mailman or something. Anyway, NVII, look at BITX. Where did this one come from? Oh, this is just leveraged Bitcoin, though, right? So it should be up. BITX, I think it's double leveraged Bitcoin. Anyway, so whatever. That's fine. PLTW, Round Hill's just dominating today. And why is that? Because it's a bullish day, and Round Hill is built more for upside with the leverage and the way they do it. Look at Maxi's up 2.79%. TSNY looking good. There's that Bitcoin gold combination that's up 2.42%. NVDY, that's a good one too. It may not be from Round Hill, but it's always right up at the top with the Round Hill ones in the max factor. NVDY is always right around the top 5. It's good. It's a good one. GPTY has been having a great. I almost hate selling this, but at least it's high. At least I'll be selling high. Look at GPTY. I mean, just killing it and outperforming the Qs. You gotta love that. BITO beating IBIT, BIDI beating. I mean, everything's beating IBIT. Palt's beating Palantir. Anyway, let's just go and see which ones are actually doing the best versus the parents. Okay, doing the best versus the parents is actually. They're saying it's XPay just because anyway, it's not really XPay. Forget about XPay. NVII is definitely beating the parents. It's beating NVIDIA by nearly a full percentage point. That's great. COII or CO2, whatever, beating Coinbase. MS2, look at this. I mean, these ones that have the 2 or the II, whatever you want to call it, is those are the Rex funds. All right, so let's see what else we can look at. I guess we can go out a month real quick. Let's go out a month and see what the best fund of the month is. Oh, I know what I was thinking of something earlier too. I'll talk about it in a second. I was talking about girls' names of my age. Kristen and Christy are the most popular. I mean, that's all my friends were named some version of Kristen or Christy. I knew a lot of Amy's and a lot of Tracy's and Stacy's and that kind of stuff too. All right. For the month, I mean, even for the month, this AVGW is dominating, up 28% on the month. The underline's only up 21%. It's beating the underline because of that leverage. Here's Bobo, doesn't use leverage, still up, still doing great, up 14%. No leverage though, so it's not beating the underline. It's performing like the normal covered call fund does. You do a little bit worse going up and a little bit better going down. But yeah, Round Hill just is a totally different business model. They don't care about it. It's not about yield with them. They'll give you a yield, but I mean, it's not going to be as much as Yield Max. But their whole idea is we're going to give you more total return or more growth. Anyway, look at old Gooey. Gooey's looking good on the month, but so is Goop. And there's my GDXY on the month. Look at that, 12.42%. Underperforming the parent, because it's Yield Max, and Yield Max is a normal covered call fund that's designed to underperform the parent. That's just the way it works. But they're also designed to outperform the parent on the way down. And that's where the jury's still out with me. These Round Hill ones will probably be a hot mess on the way down. So that's definitely not, Round Hill's definitely not free money, but I think, I'm definitely interested enough. I'm going to get some. For I think 10 or 15%, that would be fine. I want some high growth stuff. I'm going to use 15% probably. That'll be fine. Your sister's name is Christy. Yeah, she's probably about our age. You're born in you're born in 71. Yeah. My sister's born in 69. Discord is Whistler Brad. Okay. I posted a message in ETFs. Okay, good. I'll go take a look at that. So Brad, fancy barrier options. I'll look at, okay. On Nexus Discord. Oh, I see. You're talking to each other. You're talking. Sorry. What did? Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Brad. I'm doing a terrible job narrating this. Auto callable bonds are very complicated. I don't know much about bonds. It's kind of like an option. On an option, you can call it, and you have it's kind of like a bonds version of an option or whatever. But anyway, it's something that retail doesn't use. The auto callable market is something that banks and institutions use. There's one lady on YouTube, and she has a bond channel. I forget her name. All she ever talks about is bonds. She likes bonds as much as I like options. She's an expert in T-bills, T-bonds, T-notes. She knows everything there is to know about fixed income. She went on and she did a video about auto callables and how they work, and I didn't truly understand it until I watched her video. But it's like an option. It has like a strike price. It has a price that can't go below, and if it does, it's all the same type of stuff, but it's just a different technology that has to do with bonds and not stocks. Hey, good afternoon, retired. And her sister's born in 74. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's about perfect. That's peak Christie. That is peak Christie. Retire on dividends. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. I've been watching some of your content lately. I got up early on Monday morning, and I was watching was it Monday morning? No, not Monday. I think it may have been Tuesday. Anyway, I watched one of your early morning shows. So, and I enjoy them quite a bit. Yeah, but so Brad, if you understand barrier options, I don't really fully understand, but I kind of understand it. But the auto callable is like a barrier option for bonds. It has like a barrier level, and it has then it has dates, and it can't be below the barrier level by a certain date. But then if it is, it's just not straight. It's nothing that, then if it is, you still get your money back. The company still has to pay your principal, but you stop getting interest payments. So it's, I don't know. Anyway, I'm definitely keep an eye on them. I'll say this. There's no way that Speedy and Alti, what is going on with this? Since June 10th, the past few weeks have kind of been rough for Alti. I guess it wasn't. Alti was spanking it until the past few weeks, and it looks like about 2 weeks ago they crossed. I don't know what happened to Alti or whatever, but Alti was doing better until about 2 weeks ago. I guess it was because of all that crypto exposure. And then crypto started going back, but then they cut the crypto out of Alti. So I was never a big fan on that. I say just take whatever the highest IV is. But anyway, they don't ask me for my decisions. They do not ask me for my decisions. All right. Well, I wish I had a Coke because I don't mind. I have all empties here. That's why. Oh, gosh. I thought I had one that's a full one around here somewhere. But anyway, I guess I'm going to have to excuse myself. I'll just go get a Coke, and I got more stuff to do later. I can let you guys go, but thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I probably had a good talk today. I hope we covered all the subjects we were supposed to. I hope I didn't forget about anything. Anyway, if I did, go hit me up in Discord. Yeah, we've been talking about it. You can't spit without hitting a mic in my Discord or in life in general. And the mics are all going to be between 50 and 60. That's Mike's a very 45 to 75-year-old name. And and we've already been through this. We've been talking about it. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you all. Brad, it's good to see you here. Hope to see you around more often. But the rest of you guys, Mike, all the Mikes, appreciate all of you guys. Can't believe there's still 13 people around. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. You have a great day, and I will talk to you later.